Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Death by Disney podcast. I'm your host, Adam, and on this podcast, I review every Disney movie that's ever been released. And today, I'm reviewing a movie from 2017, the classic question mark uh, Pixar collaboration Coco. So, Coco is about a little boy who grows up in this family that have a deep-seated hatred for music, and he wants to be a musician. Um, and this all happens on Day of the Dead, so there is a bit of a magical story connected where he becomes cursed and he voyages to the land of the dead to try and get his father's blessing. So that's the basic idea of the movie. Um, so there's this interplay between this boy's love for music and the pain that it's caused this family. And so it's all about sort of generational trauma, if you will, because the the pain of generations is put upon the future generations. And it's also about, belonging to family and what does it mean to actually belong to family. So I think that it's a great movie in that it doesn't give really simplistic answers. So it's not like the characters are always anti-music. Uh, they have a reason for that. The reason is not necessarily great, and the one of the characters is called Coco, and she is now an old woman, but she was a young girl, and she's dying, so her mind is going, and she wants her father to come back, and that part was so beautiful because we all have these people that we miss in our lives, and you realize that she's not just sad because she has dementia. She's sad because she didn't get to experience the rest of her life with her dad, you know, and her dad didn't leave at the proper time. So I think that's really good. And I don't know. I watched this movie when I was very sleep deprived. So I did not see the twist coming. I think that there is a great twist in this movie, and I'm not going to share it with you, but I think it was really great. I think I think that it was really surprising for me the way that that turned out. And I also like the fact that Mexican ghosts, at least these specific Mexican ghosts, don't seem scary, right? They're like just people who happen to be ghosts and they want to, support their family and they care about their family even though they're dead. So that's a great thing about this movie. I think the one thing that I would be critical about, and I would give this movie a 7 out of 10 because of this, is that the the cultural background of it is great. The the music for the most part is great and the story is great, but I really I really don't like the fact that um, Disney and Pixar, and therefore modern animation, has gone in this one specific style of, you know, every character needs to have big eyes and they need to be cute, and, even the skeletons have big eyes like that. And it's 100% a thing that people do for psychological reasons, right? Like, oh, babies and puppies have big eyes, so if we give big eyes to our characters, they'll have like some kind of connection with them. But recently, I watched a few weeks ago, or last weekend, I watched Lilo and Stitch, and the character design there, you could say, oh, it's ugly, but at least those people look like real people, you know. And I think that more and more of these animated characters don't look like real people. they don't even look like attractive real people. They just look like kind of like, I don't know what they were called, but my mom had these like little porcelain dolls that were all white, and they also had those big eyes. So yeah, I think that it's creepy and it doesn't actually lend to great storytelling. Because, if you look at other animation, it's not all the same way. You don't have to draw the eyes the same way. So I think that Disney and Pixar have kind of lost that. So that's what I think about it. Now I will give you a bit of trivia. So the bit of trivia for this particular episode is that the actor who played Manuel, his name was Anthony Gonzalez, and he was originally, so Manuel was only supposed to be a guitar player, but Anthony could actually sing too. So they worked that in the movie that he would sing some of the songs as well, which I think is really great because can you imagine that you grow up? He's probably grown up now, or maybe at least a teenager in his late teens by now. Well, actually, maybe he is grown up because the production of this movie apparently was like 5 or 6 years. So he might be grown up now. Um, so it would be great to have some kind of like record of you doing something, singing in this amazing song. So that's great. And you can hear his voice in this song in Poco Loco. And there's other great songs as well. Because the movie is all about art and how it's created and who owns art as well as being about family. Another thing that really was weird was that Disney, when they started creating this movie, being Disney, they wanted to call it, I think, Dia de los Muertos, and they wanted to copyright the title Dia de los Muertos because in Mexico, the celebration is called actually Dia de Muertos. And so they thought, oh, if we call it Dia de los Muertos, it's like a special, unique thing. And Mexican Americans were like, yeah, no, let's not do that. That's a bit of cultural appropriation. And I think by having that scandal, they actually came up with a much better title, Coco, because Coco is the old great grandmother in the movie, but she's also the daughter of a character that I won't talk about now. Uh, yeah, you have to see the movie. All right, here are some reviews that other people have done of this movie. And so I'm going to start with a negative review from IMDb and then a positive review. So this is 1 out of 10. Abusive family and they're the good guys. Miguel's family is full of cowards and abusers. They assault strangers and try to control everything everybody does in the family. Miguel is the only one to stand up to them and he's considered in the wrong. It's not like he wants to do drugs or hurt people. He wants to play music, something every culture in the world has. So what does his grandmother do? Destroys a thing he values. Clear abuser move. His great-great-grandmother withholds the blessing that would prevent him from returning to the land of the living to stop him from playing music, and the other dead family has the gall to ask him to be reasonable. Then the great-great-grandmother is worried that he'll get himself killed when he runs away. Oh, if you're worried about that, maybe don't make his being alive conditional at all. All this comes to a boiling point when Miguel is finally emotionally beaten into submission and says family is more important. This is an abusive parent's wet dream of a movie to show to their abused child. And in an obvious twist, one would have to be brain dead to miss, and you have Coco. Such a beautiful aesthetic to waste on one of the worst lessons ever for children. Yeah, as I said, maybe I was brain dead when I was watching it, but I didn't see the twist coming. So I don't think that it's so very obvious that everybody would see the twist coming. I think maybe this person got really frustrated with the movie and finished it there because Miguel is right. the movie shows that Miguel is right and his family is wrong. And you don't see the apologies that they do later, but there's this a little bit of well, okay, a little bit of a spoiler now. So one of the last scenes is that um, one of the things in the movie is that you are alive in the afterlife as long as people remember you in this world. So that's why the ofrenda, the altar with the pictures of your dead family, is so important because if you're on there, then you're remembered and then you continue to live. So the uh, the great 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 grandfather, actually, well, I can't tell you what happens, but Miguel at the end is singing for a very good reason, and he's singing in front of his entire family, the ones that have been so anti music all of the time, and they let him sing. Why? Because he's right. And you're right too that they were being abusive. And but an abuser kind of gaslights you into saying that they're never wrong or they apologize, no, I'll never do it again. But we don't see that conversation. We just see Miguel proving them wrong and them not stopping him. And he never promises, so when he leaves the world of the dead, he never promises that he's going to stop playing music. And and during the next Day of the Dead, you see that he's playing music and he's enjoying it and he's happy. So I think that they didn't actually watch the rest of the movie because they would have seen, uh, they would have known that. So I think the movie very clearly sets out that what they're doing is bad. And it's weird that you saw the twist coming, but you didn't see the actual message of the movie. So that's strange, but yeah, sometimes people cannot uh, interpret the movie as people want. Okay, um, the next review is 10 out of 10, entitled Late to the Party. Okay, so I'm very late to the Coco party, but I'm so glad that I convinced myself to watch this film. Having no knowledge or real interest in the Day of the Dead festival, I wasn't really bothered about this film at all. And also, after the flop that was Moana, I thought Disney had lost it. However, I am a massive Disney Pixar fan and willing to forgive them most things, except Meet the Robinsons. My absolute favorites being Up and Wall-E, and I thought nothing could ever come close, but by golly does this knock both out of the water. I have now seen Coco about a dozen times since Christmas, and I've cried buckets every single time. This has to be Pixar's crowning glory. Absolutely love it. Um, Now I'm wondering about Moana, because I don't think it was that bad. I think it was actually quite good. And I think the thing with Disney films, um, if I could go on a bit of a digression, I think that Disney is not expecting every film, Disney and Pixar now, and even Marvel, they're not expecting every film that they make to be a success. They are just banking on that they will have one movie that crushes it every decade or every 5 years. So the live action version of Lilo and Stitch did that for them this year. So it was one of the most popular movies. So basically, because they had that success, they can afford to make more movies. And I think what also happens with Disney is they have such a wide array of content that you can be a kid and you can watch one Disney movie and you'd be like, oh yeah, I love that movie. And maybe that movie wasn't very successful at the time. Like Lilo and Stitch, the original one, wasn't very successful at the time. And then it kind of grows with the audience. And so Disney knows, because they have data, they do research about this, they know which of their movies that flopped first uh, are movies that people come back to again and again and again and again, which is why Lilo and Stitch was remade, because they know that there is an audience for that. And I think Moana too. I don't know why there'd be a live action version of Moana, but people really really loved Moana as well, and Frozen, and all of those things. So I think that Disney has these massive, massive, huge hits, and they also have flops. But among the flops, you have people who really, really love those movies as well. Yeah, but Coco wasn't a flop. Coco was a very successful movie, artistically and also financially as well. So that's what I think about this movie. What did you think? What did you think about Coco? Put your comments in the comment section if you're watching on YouTube. I guess Spotify also has a way that you can like put a comment in there. So do that wherever you find this episode. Really appreciate it. If you interact with the episodes, then the algorithm understands that people like this kind of content. And yeah, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you. So have a great day. Bye bye.